What's going on, guys? Julian here, back with another video. For today's video, we're going to be looking at a new K9 variant, post-burst protocol. If you're trying to get better at Yu-Gi-Oh! And not just play casually, check out my Discord called The Lab. We break down decks, theory, and competitive strategy every day. And if you want direct coaching, my Metafy subscription gives you exclusive access to twice weekly lessons, deck reviews, event prep, and testing with me and other pros. Links in the description. Come join us in the lab. For this variant, we're looking at actually the Fur Hire cards because they're getting some new support that actually synergizes very well with the K9 cards. The main card that's coming out that's really good is this Rex Gale Fur Hire. If you guys haven't read this card yet, its first effect is like a good part of a 2-card combo where you can reveal it, special summon a Fur Hire monster from your hand, and then summon it, so you can get 2 Fur Hire monsters with it immediately. The other effect is absolutely insane, and it's what makes this deck actually really good. If a card or cards is added to your opponent's deck by a non-Fur Hire card effect, and you control another Fur Hire monster, you can draw 1 card. Now, the first effect, the effect summon itself, is once per turn. This effect is not once per turn. So if you get Perulia, Fuad, Meows, although you're not really going to play into the Meows, you can activate this. You can activate this effect every time they draw. Every single time they draw, you draw a card. And although your opponent drawing cards off of Molotov is very strong, when it is your turn, drawing cards is more valuable than them drawing cards, so you can counter it really well. And we'll look at some options. Right now, you can see the side deck is not like an actual side deck. It's more of cards to consider, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But we are pretty much going to want to build our deck around drawing broken cards when our opponent does this to us. For the rest of the build, it's pretty standard, just like a small Fur Hire package, just because your K9 package can actually bridge into it. So we have the Beats Baldwin Fur Hire, we have one Rex, the OG Rex, we have Raphael. Raphael is also a really good part of the deck, just because it allows you to have a monster negate on the field, as well as extrapolate cards from your deck and add like any card. You know an Ash Blossom, you could add an Ash Blossom from it. It's so broken. The next new card that we'll look over together is this Storm Fur Hire. So I will translate the Fur Hire PSAT. But pretty much, if you control the monster, you special summon a Fur Hire monster from your deck. Then if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, you can special another Fur Hire. But for the rest of the turn, you're locked into Fur Hires. Also, if you would discard a card to activate a Fur Hire monster effect, you can banish instead. So pretty much this card is really good because not only is it a starter extender, but going second, it does even more, right? It can get you 2 monsters on the field. So this card is very strong. Like you don't even care that this card plays into full again because you can just summon Rex Gale and then they draw a card and you draw. So that's really good, really broken. Definitely makes the deck very strong. And then next, so we have like our basic K9 build. If there's a ban list that affects the K9 cards, you could just look at playing either more Case, because we're not even playing the full K9 package, or just playing more Fur Hire cards and bridging that way. But so we have the 3 Naroid, the 3 Jokul, the 1 Lantern, we have the 1 Case. For the rest of the Fur Hire engine, we have the Marksman. This card is just good. Like it has a destruction effect, so it's good going second. And also just allows you to extend because you can pair it with your other Fur Hire cards and summon one from your hand. We have the Mayhem, which is just an extender that we can search through our engine to reborn one from the grave. Just good in part of the combos. And then the 2 other new cards are the Secret Technique for Hire. This card is really good disruption, really good, really broken card to search and use on your opponent's turn. So you can target face-up cards in the field up to the number of Fur Hire monsters you control with different names. Destroy them. Usually that will be 3. Usually you'll have 3 Fur Hire monsters on the field. Or if you control a level 8 or higher and a link 3 or higher monster, Fur Hire monsters, which in all cases really will be Raphael plus Fulgo, then you can banish them instead of destroying them. So you can have a banish 3. Like that's MTP Cryptor and like an extra Cryptor. Like if we're putting that in terms I can understand. But yeah, so that's really good, and it loops itself because while it's in the graveyard, you can just add it back to your hand if a Fur Hire monster is summoned. Specifically level 8 or link 3, but still, if a link 3 or level 8 is summoned, you can add it back to your hand. You can only use 1 effect per turn, but that's fine because you'll activate on your opponent's turn to disrupt them. On your next turn, you will add it back to your hand. You'll set it. On the next opponent's turn, you activate it, disrupt them. On your next turn, you get the gist, right? So really strong disruption. You don't have to main deck this card. It is very strong though, but if you think your deck is strong enough, without the disruption, you can just side deck it for going first, and it's really good. The next card is the Fendor, the Fearsome Flying Fortress. This card is always treated as a Fur Hire card. First effect is continuous effect. That doesn't matter too much. All your for hire monsters gain 300 effect for each for hire monster you control, which I guess does like it does come up, right? It makes all your monsters big. And then you can use this effect only once per turn. During your main phase, you can add a for hire monster from your deck to your hand and discard one card. So this is like a Rhoda. You have to discard a card, but still, you can add any of your for hire names. And if for hire monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon one from your deck, kind of like a Crookie, right? So this on your end board is also strong because it just allows you to float your monsters. And the reason why this card is very important is because of our Keel Shipwright for hire. This monster, if it's Link Summon, you can set a for hire spell trap. Or the Flying Fortret, which I guess I don't even know why it mentions that, because that is a for hire spell trap, but from your deck. Also, after the rest of the turn, you are locked into for hires, and it does also have a disruption where during your opponent's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon a for hire monster from your hand. Then, if your monster controls the monster with the highest attack on the field, you can special summon another for hire monster. So also a very good card just to have in rotation. And if you already have access to your for hire engine, this is how you get to the trap. You set it off of this. So how do we bridge, right? As I was just saying. And I guess before I talk about that, I just want to showcase, right? We're able to play 17 non-engine slots in this. This is pretty much how thin you can go with the deck. You could cut maybe 1 or 2 more engine cards, but that would be pushing it. But still here, yeah, you can fit 17 non-engine, including the Azuna and the Lupus. And I think that's really good going into a format where the decks are consistent, but sometimes their end boards, like Dracoto, if you Ash Blossom or Rahu, they end on like very little. And so how do we bridge? Like I was saying, so we can bridge, using our for hire 5s. If we can get like 2 Reg Scales in the field, we can make a Ripper. That's simple, right? If we can have K9 monsters in rotation, we can actually, we don't even need to play Saruja. It's in the side deck, so I'll talk about it in a second. But we actually, most of the time, we want to go into full go. You use 3 monsters with different types, and guess what? All K9 monsters have different types. So it's very straightforward to go into. And you can just special summon a for hire monster from your deck, right? And that doesn't lock you. So that's why it's better to go for this than the Keel first. But if like this gets stopped, then you can just make a Keel because like you usually will have 4 monsters off of your K9 monsters, like 6. You make 6 monsters total, right? So you make this, and if this gets stopped, you can still go into Keel and then get your spell, and then combo with your spell from there. So very good ways to bridge, right? As I just talked about. And then for the rest of the extra deck, we're gonna play like a Donner, because Donner has its effect, to pop cards, but you can also tribute it and summon a for hire monster from your graveyard. And if you tribute it this card, you can actually summon 2, which is very strong. Play SP. SP is a good card. We'll play like the whole K9 suite. And there is one thing to consider here, right? If in your non-engine, you actually want to play the Fallen and the Virtuous. So this is why I have it here. I guess I'll start from the right and I'll go left. You could cut like Typhon, Zeus, and Valon and replace it with like 2 Albions and Ecclesia and play 3 of the Quick Play spell. So it really depends on how you want to build your deck. If you think that the board breaker, like the Fallen Virtuous, is going to be very strong, then you could definitely make space in your extra deck to play this. But otherwise, I would recommend still playing 2 Folgo and 2 Keel, because even though we're not playing that many for hire main deck cards, it actually is like the main part of your engine, and the K9 cards are just there to increase its consistency and its ceiling at the same time. Rather than playing like a full pure for hire deck, we're adding these cards because they help us break boards. When we open both engines, we have a much higher ceiling and we're able to do more. So now looking at what I have in the side deck, right, a bunch of different options. So you could play Saruja to draw cards and try to bridge that way, but I don't think that's necessary. I just put it there to showcase it because that's usually how people bridge with the K9 deck, but it's not really needed. We could play the Philo, the Messenger. So during your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster for hire from your hand. If a monster is special summoned where you control, for hire monster is summoned where you control this card, you can target a for hire in your graveyard and summon it. This is kind of a brick, right? It's like an extender, but a little bit bricky. The only reason you would play this card is if you play Harpy's Featherstorm. So I don't think I would main deck this card. I would like side it for going first and then play like Thrust or Trap Trick plus Featherstorm, just because when you get Mulch Harmied, you will find this card. Like, you will find this card because you're going to summon your Rex, and then you're going to draw as your opponent draws, and then set up this card, right? The whole point is, if we're giving our opponents draws so that we can draw, we need to draw into something stronger than what they have. Right? We need to turn skip them. It doesn't matter if they have 25 cards in hand. back to my turn and I'll kill you with the K9 cards, right? It's very strong. That's why I also put talents in here, just because, you know, we can draw into talents, look at their hand, remove strong cards. This is very good. Other options for your side deck would be playing like the Molcharmies. I think the Molcharmies are very strong, and at the same time, again, how do they measure against us? Meows doesn't really do anything. Like, we don't have to play into it much. Perulia is pretty strong. We will give them draws, but like I said before, we will draw as well. That could be also another reason to play more for higher cards in the deck, because if you lead K9 cards and you don't have access to Rex Scale yet, then you're weaker into the Molcharmies because you have to give them draws without you getting draws yourself. Droll is a pretty decent card against this deck, just because, right, it's like cutting off of our searches, and we're not allowed to, we're not able to like push through the whole draw thing again against them. Whereas, you know, now we're actually floodgated. It's like the strongest floodgated against this deck for sure. So that's something to keep in mind if you expect this deck at events. Nib, I think Nib is a good card in this deck to side, because you have such strong disruptions like going first. If you can draw into a Nib, you can interact with your opponent at certain points to make sure that Nib like always passes their turn. Imperm is a card that I would play in most decks to respect K9 decks, because this is usually the strongest non-floodgate card against K9 decks. Next we have Fossil Dig. So this is another card that you can play to increase your for higher engine count, just because Fossil Dig can get you Rex Gale, it can get you Rex Fright, and I think that's the only dinosaurs, right? Yeah, but those are like the main two like starters in the deck that you'd want to access anyways. So yeah, so Fossil Dig is a very good engine card. I guess I already talked about these, so that's going to be it for kind of this deck profile and like talking about this deck and why I think it's strong. I definitely think it has a lot of added benefits compared to other decks. Like, the way that other decks play into Molcharmies is they just don't play that much. They set up like a half board that's very breakable, and they say, okay, go ahead, I'll try to live and I'll try to crack back on my turn. This deck says, screw you, I'm going to draw with you. I'm going to set up a crazy board. You're going to have hella cards, but I'm going to have some turn skip cards. I'm going to have just insane advantage, and it won't matter that you drew like 5 to 10 cards. Like, genuinely. I had someone do this to me, by the way, and I was like, what's going on? This card's not once per turn. That's crazy. But yeah, that's going to be it for the deck. I think this deck is pretty slept on. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it. So if you guys like this deck, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.